Hello and welcome to Die Rollin. I'm Adam, and today I'm here to take you through Arcadia Tenebra, the game that you can see nestled behind me here. Arcadia Tenebra is a game about trying to find a murderer. You and your fellow investigators may work together to try to capture the said killer, or you could just work on your own. You can solo this game, and I will be taking you through various elements of the game, how to play it, without giving away any of the plot details. So there's a book here which has all the plot in, but I'm just going to kind of skim over bits of this because, like I said, I don't want to spoil it for you. This is a very unique game because it's more about the journey than it's the destination. You can't get the whole story in one sitting of this game. You'll have to play multiple times. And every time you do go through that, you might play the game vastly differently. You may play a character who just wants to go around and kill everything, or you may play someone who's a bit smarter and tries to outwit everybody. There's no wrong answers in this game. You can play however you wish. So, without further ado, I think I'm going to get you to have a look at this a little more closely. So, I've set up for a solo player game here, and I've chosen a character at random. The very start of the game, you'll get one person to read the introduction from the leads book, but we're not going to do that for this because I don't want to spoil in the story, like I said. So the general premise is that we are investigators who have come in from outside of this area to try to find the Blood Moon killer before the Blood Moon is in full effect. So with that in mind, we are given a few different areas to go and check out. So they tell us, oh, you can go and check out the laboratory, you could go and speak to the innkeeper at the Wolf's Head, and some other little areas you can go and check out, such as the brothel, I believe. And I know that when I played this with friends, the first place they wanted to check out was the brothel. But that says a lot more about the company I keep than this game itself. So let me just talk you through all the bits we've got going on. I'm going to start with a character here. So we've chosen Ricardo Morin. This isn't random. This guy is a kind of workaholic, and he's also an addict. And this is all explained on the back of your character sheet. So the character boards themselves, let me just give you an example here. So as you can see, that's the front that you're looking at here for Ricardo Morin. But on the back of this, you've got a bunch of information on there, including your appearance, your personality, and your religion and spirituality. So you're highly encouraged to take a look at this and read through all of this before you play the game, so you know how this character plays and how he thinks, or she. It's probably a good point to talk you through. There's a ton of characters in this game, like loads, and they all play vastly differently with different stats and stuff. So yeah, that's just good to know. So let me give you an overview of the character sheet here. I say sheet, it's actually a board. So you've got your name up here, you've got a little bit of flavor text here, you've got a couple of things that affect the game. This could be positive or negative. Your attack value here, this is how many times you attack in combat. So when you're in combat, I'll be rolling 2 attacks every round. This can increase or decrease. Roll, this is what modifier you do to your d20. So every time you're rolling, you're using this lovely d20 over here, and you're adding whatever modifier you've got on there. Hardness is kind of like an armor class. This is what the enemy needs to get to hit you in combat. Damage, this is how much damage you do when you're fighting. Power, this is basically your health. It's also used to intimidate and, yeah, basically, that's kind of, if you're strong, you've got a high power. Intelligence, this is used to outwit or outsmart people. And charisma, this is used to charm people. You've also got various different areas around your board where you can place your cards. So you've got a nice little tableau here, and all the information is kind of open to the public there. We've started off with this flintlock, so we get a +2 to our rolls and a +1 to our damage. So I'll add that on now. So all our rolls currently have a +2, which is nice. And our damage is also now 2. You start off with a random item at the beginning of the game. So that's our character sheet here. Let me also talk you through some cards. So we've got intelligence encounters, charisma encounters, and next thing you have these across the border encounters. So these come in play a bit later in the game. Up here we have the creatures we're going to be fighting, level 1, level 2, and also creatures that are across the border. Up the top there we have our Blood Moon. So this is your kind of round tracker, and once that goes full, game over. You can play the game with various starting points for that Blood Moon, but 20 is the recommended starting point there. We've got our creature boards over here, which, as there's only one player here, I've only got 2 creature boards out. And you're going to be putting the creature's stats on there when a creature comes. I'll get to combat in a little bit so you can see how that plays. On the left there, you've got the clues. These are the most important thing. You need to get 3 clues to progress the story. Once 3 clues have been discovered and returned to the chief of police, then the plot kind of takes a bit of a twist. Spoilers there. There's luckies and unluckies. When you do something which is quite unfortunate, you'll be picking up an unlucky card. And other points, you'll be prompted to pick up a lucky. There are special cards in the top left. They only come into play when you're told to draw them. And there's also the Tesla's prototype. So Nikola Tesla's in this game, and if you can find him, then you can basically grab some of his sweet prototypes, which will help you out in trying to find the Blood Moon Killer. Now let's go to the board itself. The board is comprised of various different squares. Ignore the 4 squares here. This is basically just one big square. It only looks like that because this is how the board is currently lying in the prototype. But yes, basically you've got all these squares, and you move 1 space into one of these squares. You explore it. Once you explore it, you add a little triangle to the corner of the square. I'll just get one of these out now to give you an example. So once you've explored it and it's gone successful, you'll be putting up one of those. And every time you move over an area with a square, with a little triangle, you can move over that space. So for instance, if I had a triangle here, a triangle there, and a triangle there, then rather than just moving 1 space every turn, I could go straight to the other side of the explored locations. You can only travel orthogonally, and you can't move through mountains, for instance. You've got to follow these kind of paths around. So, iconography. This light bulb is for intelligence encounters, so if you're in there, you can do an intelligence encounter. The heart is for charisma encounters. The magnifying glass means there's a clue at this location. The little book here means there is a lead at this location, and on this very first one, the number 3 here, you read that at the very beginning. That's your introduction, and the 35 there is when you found your 3 clues. You read this out. This little bag here means you can sell or buy things at the shop. This little healing kind of health thing here means you can heal or rest this location, and this +4 next to the heart means you can increase your charisma by 4 here. So yeah, that's those icons there. Over here we have got the combat symbol here. So you'll see there's a number 2 in that one here and a number 1 in there. That means that's the type of level monster you're getting there. So this is how you fight things, and there's also boss encounters at these red locations here. And you'll also see over here in the laboratory, you can just about make out there's a +4 next to this intelligence symbol, and that means you can increase your intelligence by 4. I think that's pretty much it for the board. Like I said, there's various different locations you can go and explore, and as you play the game was directing you to go to these places and explore them to follow up the leads. So we are going to set out north towards the laboratory, and we're going to move along the Imperial Road north, and we can choose to do a charisma encounter, an intelligence encounter, or we can fight something that's level 1. We're going to do the latter there. We're going to fight something that's level 1. Now we roll our dice, and if we get an odd number, then we're only fighting 1 creature. If we get an even number, we're fighting 2. Odd number. So we're fighting 1 monster, and we have a murder of crows. So it tells you how much health they have with a power of 6 there, how much damage they do, which is 2, how many attacks they get, which is 3, and what you need to be able to hit them, which is 5. So it's Ricardo versus the crows. Now we get to go first. So we have how many attacks? We have 2 attacks. So I get to roll this twice, and I'm going to be applying 2 damage every time I hit them. They have a hardness of 5, so I have to get more than 5 on this dice to be able to hit them. And I get a +2 to my roll. So actually, I need to get 3 or more to hit these guys. So it should be fairly easy to get them. 7, so I do 2 damage. And a 1. Oh, a 1. Why did I have to roll a 1? So as we got a 1, this is deemed as a critical miss. So we actually damage ourselves for 2 damage. If we'd rolled a 2 on there, we would have only damaged ourselves for 1 damage. But because we got a 1, it's 2 damage. So we take 2 damage. We also have to draw an unlucky. Gaggles. After yet another merry night in brothel, you wake up in hotel. Your teeth are numbed, your jaw is rigid, your throat is painfully dry, and you have no idea who and when dragged you back to your room. So we have to give ourselves -5 charisma, -1 power, but we have 4 intelligence. And I can take them off in the brothel. So this goes in my trinkets area. So my charisma's gone down. My power has gone down by 1, and my intelligence goes up. Okay, so that was pretty good. I could show you what the critical miss was. Now the creatures go. So now the Murder of Crows has a special ability on here. So once in combat, they can dive straight onto one opponent and inflict 2 damage. So we can do that straight away. So 2 damage on me there. And now they are attacking. They get 2 attacks, and they need to get over 12. Which they do, so that does 3 damage. For the first attack. For the second attack, they miss. And the third attack, they also miss. So let's go again. My first attack, I need to get 3 or more to hurt them, so I do. So it's 2 damage. And then I go again. And I do it again. So I've managed to kill the creatures. So now we've defeated him, we draw the top lucky, which is another weapon. Well, I have to make a decision there. Do I want to... I've got a pretty low charisma, so I'm going to do that. I'm just going to grab this, and I'm going to put this in my backpack. So now that I've successfully encountered the area, I place one of these triangles up there, which means I've now explored this location. That was the end of my turn, so the Blood Moon moves on. Once that has fully been exposed, then the killer has finished. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to up here to Tesla's laboratory. So now here I'm going to try to do an intelligence encounter. So I draw the top one from here. Now, when you're doing these encounters, you get to do them twice if you fail on your first attempt. So, fire glares from the nearby hill. Curiosity and empty stomach drag you uphill. Once you get there, you see few fires, a huge tent, and a bunch of merry locals scattered in groups. You inquire about the occasion, and one of them answers, "Frogs Night. Competition in frogs jumping. Winner's name will be celebrated across Arcadia for years to come." A mustached guy encourages you to apply and select your champion from a barrel full of big and small frogs. An excellent opportunity to have some fun and perhaps even win, earning a meal, drink, and some fame. So we have to push frog to jump, and it has an intelligence of 15 difficulty on there. So how the encounters work is you have a look at what your intelligence is, you have a look at what the intelligence on the card is, and you subtract the difference. So I currently have an intelligence of 20, and Frog's Night has an intelligence of 15. So 20 take 15 is 5. We now take the 5 away from the intelligence, so we basically have to roll 10 or more to be able to succeed at this. And we get 2 attempts at this. 10 or more. 15. Boom. So I succeeded in my first attempt there. So, carefully observing competitors, you notice it's important to clap your hands at the right moment in order to persuade a frog to jump. You clap and shout, your frog jumps and breaks the competition record. You and your frog are then driven in a festive carriage to a nearby hamlet to enjoy a well-deserved meal and some rest. So my power goes to max and I get +1 lucky. And I find a sheepskin coat, which gives me a +1 power and +1 hardness. So as we explored that, we would put one of these up here. And next time we move, we could move all the way down here if we wanted to, because we could travel through the Imperial Road North without having to do an encounter. The Blood Moon moves one more time. And at this point, I'm going to go through a lead for you. So just to give you an idea of what you're going to expect here. So there's a number on there, it says 9. So we turn to page 9 in the lead book and we find a laboratory. There is lovely artwork in this game, and yeah, it's just really a joy to look at. So the general idea of this lead is there is an electronic lock that is on the door here. So we have the lead over here, which would read this, and then we have what we have to get past here. We also we then have what the resolution is there. So every location on the board has its own thing, and some of the leads will lead you to other areas. So to do this, we would have to try to break this lock, and we'd have to do it 5 times. And every time we fail, we're going to be getting 2 damage. So yeah, that's how you would get past that lead. And once we've done that lead, we'd get something really cool. But I'm not going to go through that with you because I don't want to spoil all the little fun elements of this game by walking you through those leads. So in a nutshell, that is pretty much Arcadia Tenebra. You're going to be moving around, you're going to be exploring locations, fighting monsters, and hopefully catching the Blood Moon Killer. That ends our time with Arcadia Tenebra, which is a shame because I really enjoy this. I'd recommend this game to anybody who is looking for something a little different, a kind of mystery game with heavy RPG elements in there, with some choices in the mix. I like the game because you can play this differently every time you play this. I've played with some characters where I've read my character's background and thought, you know what, he's more of a lover than a fighter, so I've gone around using my charisma on everyone, when other times I've just gone in and tried to beat everybody up that I've found. There's a ton of different characters in here which adds the replayability, and it's great when you play with a group of people with this, when everyone is playing their characters. Like I say, vastly different from other games I have. If this has piqued your interest at all, then please look out for the Kickstarter. And as for me, you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, along with Jenny and Will. And yeah, if you like this video, like and subscribe to all areas you can of our stuff, and we will keep pumping these videos out. Until next time, stay safe and keep rolling.